An hours-long rescue is finally over tonight. Good evening. I'm Alexandra Lewis.
And I'm Mark Salinger. It started today with an elevator malfunction at a tourist attraction where a mine tour takes people deep underground through mining tunnels. One person died, at least 4 others were injured, and a dozen people were stuck 1,000 feet underground.
9 News reporter Janelle Finch is at the Molly Kathleen gold mine in Cripple Creek late tonight. Janelle, those people were stuck for hours and they were all the way down there not really even knowing what was going on.
That's right. For this group of 12, their story couldn't have had a better ending. The Teller County Sheriff says everyone was able to make it up out of the mine by 7 p.m. and no one was hurt. The Sheriff's Office says the rescue took so long because crews had to make sure the elevator was safe to bring everyone up 4 at a time. They also made a plan in case the elevator didn't work to bring them up by rope. Luckily, they didn't need to do that. The entire time the people were stuck in the mine, they believed it was just an elevator issue. First responders didn't tell the group all that had happened until after they were rescued. The sheriff says this was the best way to keep everyone calm.
In speaking with them afterwards, they were very thankful that we didn't tell them, because I think that would have caused a little more of an angst about how do we get out of here. So it went well.
The sheriff couldn't say what caused the elevator malfunction or how exactly the person died on the elevator earlier today. He says that's all a part of the investigation. OSHA has been called in and they will take the lead on the investigation. The sheriff says that this is the end of gold mine tour season, so the mine would be closed anyway, but it will definitely be closed for the duration of the investigation. The sheriff hopes, though, that it'll reopen next year. Live in Cripple Creek, Janelle Finch, 9 News.
Janelle, thank you. New tonight, a look at how quickly a seemingly routine police call can turn into a fight for an officer's life. An officer was stabbed back in 2022 in Wheat Ridge, and today a judge sentenced the man who nearly killed him.
9 News Investigates obtained that officer's body-worn camera today. Chris Vanderveen shows us what turned into a nightmare call for the officer's daughter.
We're going to show you how it all went down. Seconds and minutes captured on a Wheat Ridge police officer's body camera.
Hi, we got called because you hit a fence or something.
Hit a fence?
That's what they're saying.
The officer doesn't know it, but Andre Jones has a knife with him. 40 seconds into this, the situation starts to escalate.
Do you have your ID with you?
Is there a problem?
Well, yeah.
92 seconds in, the officer decides to pull Jones out.
Step out of the vehicle! Get out of the car.
There's a fight. The officer attempts to handcuff Jones, and then the knife comes out, and the officer is stabbed repeatedly.
All I could hear over the radio was screaming.
More than 2 years later, that officer's daughter, a police officer herself, told the judge what it was like to respond to that call.
I remember very distinctly that I felt like I could not get my patrol car to drive fast enough. I was desperately clinging to hope, thinking, it can't be my dad, it just can't. I kept hoping my dad's voice would come over the radio, reassuring me that he was okay.
Kylie Fisher's dad, Alan Fisher, received a dozen stab wounds that night, nearly lost his life, absolutely lost his ability to be an officer on the street.
My recovery has been slow and tedious, with many surgeries. However, worse than my surgeries have been facing the reality that I will never be able to perform the duties of a police officer again.
In the end, the judge sentenced Jones to the most he faced, 32 years, all due to an attempted murder that started out like so many officer calls.
You want to come out and look?
Chris Vanderveen, 9 News.
Last year, while awaiting trial for this case, Jones hit a jail deputy. He received an additional 3 years in prison today for that assault.
Castle Rock police shot and killed a man last night. They're calling a suspect. They say he was armed with a shotgun and a handgun. It started about 10:15 last night near the Ridge at Castle Rock Apartments when police got a call about a man who had taken someone's phone and broken it. When officers got there, they saw a man holding a shotgun breaking into the leasing office. Police said the man barricaded himself inside a building and they heard a shot go off. Minutes later, he walked out of the building with a handgun and shot at officers. That's when police fired back. A neighbor took this video of the shooting.
Let me see your hands in the police department!
Okay. That. Holy
He's got a shield!
Castle Rock police say they've had contact with the man in the past. Those incidents will be included in the investigation. 5 officers are on administrative leave right now per protocol.
Tomorrow, former President Donald Trump will hold a campaign rally in Aurora, the city that he's falsely claimed has been taken over by gangs and has called a civil war zone. By now, tickets have been claimed for the free event at the Gaylord Rockies Resort and Convention Center. For anyone who is attending, doors open at 9 a.m. Speakers start at 11, with the former president expected to take the stage around 1. The rally is about as close to the airport as you can get. Secret Service hasn't confirmed their route to get there, though, so be aware that there could be some brief road closures in the area for the former president's motorcade before and after the rally. We will have coverage throughout the day here on 9 News. You can watch Trump's campaign rally streaming live on 9 News Plus and 9news.com starting at 11 a.m.
A little over 24 hours after Milton made landfall in Florida, nearly 1,000 people have been rescued. Not everybody made it out. Local officials say at least 15 people have died so far at last count, and the state is anticipating that number will go up. Nearly 3 million people are without power tonight as recovery efforts are just beginning.
I want to bring in 9 News weather impact meteorologist Kathy Sabin, because Kathy, there's so much destruction there in Florida that they're going to need all the help that they can get.
Yes, it will take weeks, possibly months, because they're dealing with Milton on the heels of Helene. Around here, the northern lights are visible. If you get a chance, go outside with your camera. You can clearly and vividly see the coloring, and the pictures are coming in from across the country. Milton is moving out. Good riddance. There are no tropical advisories in effect for the Florida Peninsula tonight, and we are waiting on a weak cool front coming our way from the northwest. That will bring temperatures down out of the 80s into the 70s tomorrow. We're at 62 in Denver this hour. A lot of the smoke and haze has been lifting to the north and east away from the area. We'll have elevated fire danger over the weekend ahead of a cool front that will bring widespread frost. The timing and impact of that weather change is coming up.
A new national monument could bring a whole lot more people to a part of our state that might not really be able to handle it. If approved, the Dolores Canyons National Monument would be the largest in the state at roughly 400,000 acres across Mesa and Montrose counties. Galen Daughtry is the fire chief for the Gateway Uniweep district. He says his 1 firehouse, 1 fire engine, and 1 ambulance would have no chance to keep up with an increase in visitors that would likely come to that national monument. While he's pushing for more resources, like an additional fire station, more fire trucks, and more staff, advocates for the park say that would come with time and tourist dollars.
I honestly do not feel like we'd be able to handle the amount of tourism that a monument would bring in.
There's nothing that justifies having more infrastructure at this time. Once there's a need for it, though, that's when that infrastructure is developed.
Galen says he has received no assurance that the cost to his department would be covered if the monument were to be approved. Ultimately, that decision is up to the president. The White House said they have nothing to share on this time.
Colorado's ballots go out tomorrow, and on that ballot, there's a second wildlife issue in 4 years. This time, it's not about the wolves, but a ban on hunting mountain lions, bobcats, and lynx.
9 News photojournalist Ann Herbst talked to people on both sides of the issue and how they feel that this compares to the wolf reintroduction vote from 4 years ago.
Memories made in the Rocky Mountains stick.
This is Sawyer. He's my son. He just turned 7 years old.
Most of Samantha Miller's include her kid.
He loves the camera, you can't tell. And we just did a 15-mile backpacking trip.
This summer, Samantha and Sawyer took a road not traveled in Colorado to get a ban on hunting mountain lions, bobcats, and lynx on the Colorado ballot.
I was kind of born this way. When I was 5 years old, I was writing Santa letters to protect mountain lions.
Now she's asking voters for something. Samantha is with Cats Aren't Trophies, who spent about $1.9 million to convince Coloradans to say yes to Proposition 127.
Trophy hunters take lions for their heads and hides, shot out of a tree.
The primary purpose for mountain lion hunting is trophy hunting, period. As ethical hunters, we can recognize that value that carnivores bring to our ecosystems and how well they balance nature.
Colorado Parks and Wildlife says the state has a healthy population of adult lions, up to 4,400. About 500 were hunted and killed last year. CPW says hunting is one tool they use to manage the mountain lion population. Earl Osterling makes his living off hunting.
Yeah, you can sit in here in comfort, out of the wind, and the memory of a friend that started this probably drives me more than anything.
That friend, Tony, owned an outfitting business.
He knew a lot of people, and a lot of people knew him. Tony passed away at a really young age from a really rare disease.
Tony's family asked Earl to trade in his suit and tie job at Toyota.
July 5th, 1994, I started in that office.
For way more casual digs.
Much better view.
Earl grew his friend's business into Ivory and Antler Outfitters.
She's a little faded from the years, kind of like me.
This time of year, his focus is on elk. But Proposition 127 has shifted Earl's attention to an animal he's hunted and seen on his trail cameras. Colorado's wildlife deserve better has spent $500,000 to get people to vote no.
This November, vote to keep wildlife management in the hands of the experts.
The lion ban is really centered around a word that everybody's using right now, trophy hunting. It's really important for everybody to understand that trophy hunting is illegal in Colorado. Everything that we hunt, we have to consume. It's a very delicious meat. It's very lean. It tastes a lot like beef, but has the consistency of pork.
Anyone who says they eat cat meat, it's generally an excuse because the primary purpose for killing that animal is not for the meat. We don't sell cats in our markets. We don't sell cats at Applebee's.
The last wildlife question brought to Coloradans was in 2020. Wolf reintroduction was on the ballot and narrowly passed.
It's a totally different question. It's not a question of reintroduction. It's a question of how do we coexist with carnivores that are native to here, that live here with us.
People voted on that thinking, man, that was a great idea. Wolves would be great to go up and camp and hear howl. To see the actual aftermath of what's happened, we all see that now.
3 of the 10 wolves released last year have died. Another is in captivity with her pups. Wolves have killed 27 livestock in Colorado so far this year.
Colorado mountains are the best mountains.
Samantha worries hikes in the Rockies with her son might change.
Very critical that we ensure that they're still alive and around and healthy and thriving when my kid's older.
Earl worries this ban could lead to more like it.
CPW has a season on mountain lions for a reason. That's because they're a manageable resource and they need to be managed.
Both fight because they know memories made in the mountains are worth the hard work. Ann Herbst, 9 News.
So California is the only other state that has banned mountain lion hunting. Their mountain lion population about the same as Colorado. Washington and Oregon have banned the use of dogs in hunting mountain lions.